Boxing King Media in association with BOXXER. Excuse me for saying it, but a slightly rough-looking Joshua Buatsi, but that's your get-up and that's how you roll.
It's been like that from the Genesis, man. I see fighters doing it now. They having that same mentality, but yeah, it's nothing unfamiliar. Slight difference. I came to you to interview me. Usually you guys come to us, but I came to you. I haven't seen you for a long time, so it's good to see you, man.
Definitely so, Josh. We go way back before you even signed to Matchroom. I remember speaking to you then. You've had an interesting journey. You've had your time with Matchroom and you're now with BOXXER. One of the first questions I want to ask you is the pressure of looking good on debut. You saw that with Lawrence recently. He got so much criticism. He got a little mollified, and I feel like he kind of got pressured into taking a big fight with Chris Billam-Smith straight away. So you must have seen that, and are you adding pressure to yourself to make sure you look good and get a conclusive finish Saturday night?
Yeah, you're right. The pressure that comes with it is there, but I mean, I can't look at another fight and think it's going to happen to me. I'm going in there with what I've been training to do and to execute. I'm not thinking other thing. I'm just thinking execution. So that's what I'm planning to do, man.
I spoke to Shakan Peters, who's been sparring with your opponent, and from what he's told me, is a pressure fighter, is strong. So I'm guessing that's going to suit you. You want somebody coming at you.
You know, from learning a bit, I noticed that when you have someone coming in to survive, it's going to be a harder fight because they're going to be running, making you look bad. But when they come in and they're competitive and they want to fight and they want to win, it leaves openings. So yeah, I mean, him bringing that heat will be good for me.
I want to try and understand what improvements Virgil's made to your game as well, because you going across to America, the cost of training there, the flights, it's a lot of money to take out your pay packet.
Good, that's interesting. You said you want to see. That means you ain't seen no improvements.
I want you to tell me what you feel like it's added to your game.
There's a lot of mental gains that I've gained from just being out there. It's far away from home, very, very far away from home. You know what? The benefits from it.
I'll just give you a better way of explaining it, because the reason
I know what I'm going to say. The benefit I get from going to the States is it's very far from home, so I get time alone. When I say I'm in camp, I'm actually in camp. All I have to do there is box and sleep. That's all I have to deal with. When you're in the London, where you're in your comfort zone, where you're from, Josh, there's this going on. Josh, come and do this, come and do that. You can be busy, but the massive advantage I have over there is my phone's not popping. You know, no one's hitting me up. I'm not doing anything but boxing and sleeping. So there's a lot of gains that's come from it. In terms of boxing and skill-wise, I think Saturday I'll show some of that.
Because the reason I'm asking, because there's a lot of good trainees in the UK, for you to make that the financial commitment to go away, because it ain't cheap, you know what I mean? It takes a big chunk. You're talking like not far off 6 figures for some fighters, you know what I mean?
It takes a lot, good, but I think the one message people should always keep in their mind is you have to invest in yourself. When I first started, there wasn't a lot of investing in myself as an athlete. Of course, I was, doing the boxing and everything, but when I think about investing in myself as an athlete, if my coach were in Brazil, bro, I'd be in Brazil. He just happens to be in the States, so it's nothing personal against all the UK coaches. I just felt Virgil was the guy for me, and that's why I've ended up.
Interesting stuff, man. And obviously you got Shakan Peters stood next to you right now. If you get past this guy, do you see yourself mixing with the British light heavyweights, or do you think you're going to be aiming towards the world title levels? Because I know Virgil said in the past that he feels that you're not ready for that moment. What do you think?
Again, you guys twisted the words. Virgil didn't say I'm not ready. What he said.
That's what I read.
Yeah. So what he said was, you know what? Of course, I'd love my fighter to have 1 or 2 extra fights. Doesn't mean if the opportunity was presented, we'd say no. And the stance is still the same. Yeah, you want to have the extra fight. You want to do 1 or 2 fights. Box this guy, box that guy. But it doesn't mean if they said, oh my goodness, you're mandatory now, or X, Y, and Z, the champion wants to fight you next. You won't turn it down. So I think that was a misunderstanding from the public. But yeah, in terms of the British guys, you wouldn't turn down a derby. My fight with Spider, people may have questioned it, but it was, till this day, one of the best things I've done, because a guy from my area, we knew the same people, the crowd showed up, the interest was there, the talk was there. and the fight was a 12 rounder. It was actually a very, very good learning fight for myself. So you can't turn down a national fight as such when you're looking at the light heavyweight division, especially. But of course, man, if a world title is available, I'd pick that option.
Just a couple of more questions for you. When you left Eddie, it felt like your relationship that you guys started with kind of ended a bit sour. Any regrets on how that ended, or do you think that's just the nature of this business? There's no real friends, and it is ultimately a business disguised as boxing.
No regrets, man. Again, another thing for us as fighters, our career is once. These promoters, managers, whatever you want to call them, their career is not once. There's so many fighters they can work with. But we as individuals, we as fighters, our career is once. So do I regret making a move that I think was better for myself? That didn't even cross my mind, bro.
And the last thing I want to ask you is, I saw Katie Taylor recently. She uses the same words from the Bible, Psalm 144, God trains your hands for war. And I know you go abide that as well. Is there any particular prayers that you say that you want to share with your followers out there that may be on the religious vibe like yourself, pre-fight?
So yeah, the one Katie Taylor and I uses, it talks about how it is God who trains my hands for war and my fingers for battle. Of course, we know what we're doing. There's so many scriptures that, you know, the thing is, people think about God and they just think of like a whole spirit and some madness, but God works within us, man. Like when I'm going to fight, the scriptures that I read, I'm like, you know what, let's go, like let's rock. It gives me the motivation that I said, you know what, let's get it. Don't come and tell me, oh, you beat up that guy in sparring, you did this, you done that. Yeah, the physical is good, but when I'm reading scriptures from the Bible, from God himself, come on, I'm confident. God, another one Joe Cordine and I use and we dwell on is another one in Isaiah 40, I think it is, or 41, not too sure which one, but if you get a chance, read both. It says, I will hold you with my righteous right hand. It says, do not be dismayed. Don't be scared. I will strengthen you. So these are in the Bible. Like when I'm sitting in my changing room or in my hotel and I'm reading it, I'm getting motivation. So, you know, people may feel, oh, God, how does it translate to boxing? But I believe we've been called for a time like this. We as fighters, we as people, you do what you do, that's what you've been called to do. I fight so I can find motivation in the scripture and I can use that to help me, man.
Not a problem, and I always like to get the fighters to talk about their religious beliefs and just personal beliefs, because I feel like in society we're kind of, the media trying to push that away. So I like to, whenever I get a chance, I always ask people. And
I appreciate you always doing stuff like this. Yeah, I see your clips online and things that you get fighters to talk about, and that's very important, man. Giving them the mic and the voice to, you know, voice stuff like this is important.
Joshua Buatsi, wish you all the best, man, and good luck.